All right. So, do you always need to be progressing? The answer is no. However, that's the mindset a lot of people have. Anytime they're on a training program, they think that everything has to be progressed. And I understand that most people do get maintenance programs and things like that, but nobody's thinking in those terms of, can you just live in a program that is just maintenance? The first thing about that is, to me, that's progress over a long period of time, because if you did nothing over a long period of time, we would regress, right? You would lose. We all know this, right? You get in those time periods where you get out of the gym. This could be even just a few months or years. And what happens? You get weaker, you get less fit, less capacity, less mobility, all that kind of stuff if you're not working on it. So if you do a program that is um, uh, at a maintenance level, if you just maintain, if we just put it that way, you are in essence progressing, right? Because over time, you're just keeping yourself from regressing. So you still have to work hard enough that you don't regress. You're just not making progress, right? And so I think about this when it comes to time periods of people's lives where they cannot put enough effort or time or resources or whatever into making a progressive approach to their training. So it's okay to just find that middle ground where you can just do just enough work to not lose what you're working on. Just stay there. And you can do that forever, realistically. If you're someone's like, I'm really happy with where I'm at, I'm not a fitness enthusiast, I just want to make sure I have healthy and good body composition and a healthy and good lifestyle. I don't care about the gym other than it's a tool for me to have a healthier, more productive lifestyle. You could live in a maintenance zone forever. Okay, so that means trying to maintain some of the, let's just say, more objective things like numbers on your lifts or your aerobic capacity tests or things like that, and just maintain those numbers over a long period of time. Now, obviously, that would look different from 30 years old to 50 years old, potentially. So it's okay to see some decline, but not so much that it's an actual regression from that current state of fitness ability. I think in context, one of the best types of clients that I work with that this works well for are those who cannot really get into a long term routine with training. They lack consistency, and that is the fundamental element to progression. You cannot have progressive overload if you don't have a routine and consistency in training. Meaning, like, if you are working on these elements in your training or these goals in your training, but you don't even know when you're going to be able to work on these certain things because your consistency is off, well, you're not going to probably have the ability to hit those components frequently enough to progress it. Therefore, you're just going to go into the gym and do what you can. And so, a program for me, or a program that I would design would, for someone like that, would look like um, trying to hit as many elements as you can on a weekly basis. So if you train 4 days a week on week one, but week three is 1 day a week, well, I would probably hit, let's say, if you're working on four different components in your training, in the first week, I would probably put all those components across those 4 days. But in that last week, if you're like, oh, man, I can only get into the gym 1 day a week, it's just the way the work is and life is this week, I'm going to put all those components into that day. It only modulate your energy levels and your effort and volume and intensities into that day. It's not going to like take 4 1 hour training sessions and then make you do a 4 hour training session on 1 day. So don't interpret that wrong. You'd have to condense things and kind of dissipate some of the other uh, components to that to make sure that you're at least hitting that frequency at a small dose. And so that level of, or that type of program design is going to work well for somebody who can just maintain. But if I asked you to go in with lack of consistency and work really hard on a certain thing, and then we're going to make progressions, but your inconsistency doesn't allow you to actually progress, you're not going to keep up with the program. So when it comes to the question of, if you ask yourself, do I always need to be progressing? No. You can stay on a maintenance program. You can stay at the same level all the time for a long period of time. And this works well for people who need to uh, first find a time period in life where they can get that routine and consistency back in their training.